Nothing. As the tool holder no longer holds the butt. Nothing. Yeesh. No lights, no nothing. And there is why it's not sitting on right. Well folks, how the hell are yous? It's a Monday morning. There's an absolute load of machines in for repair and I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to start off with the mystery box. It's a box of broken tools that need to be fixed up. I have no idea what's on it. So let's open her up and see what we got. Let's see if we can fix them more like. Two Bosch 9-inch grinder and a Marcrist. Looks like a DDM3 diamond core drill. Let's see what we can do with these two. So we'll start with the easy one, or we hope it's the easy one. Bosch 9-inch grinder. Now these are from a regular customer, so they will have been on before, which they have. It's one of my numbers here. Let's see what the problems is. Nothing. That's not coming off. Doesn't want to come off, just leave it. Brushes look okay. Leads are still intact. Check the lead. It's a little bit kinked. Right, there's a simple one. It's only a lead. There's a quick fix. Just swap it out as you get it running. Clean out all this dust as well. Nothing wrong with the old plug, so just reuse that. That should be it. That's her. One Bosch 9-inch grinder. There's an older GWS 24/230 BV. Only needing a new lead. It's actually a 2007 machine. That's the first one. And we'll go on to the Marcrist. Now, this particular model is now gone. These DDM models, the 1, 2 and 3, they're obsolete now. They've actually changed rolls, so these old gears are actually obsolete, and a lot of the parts might be going obsolete shortly, if not already. So let's see if we can actually fix this or not. Just another lead. Now these ones actually have security screws. All they are is an actual flathead screwdriver, just with the metal cut out. If you don't have one of the heads, you can easily make one out of an old flathead. I also need a grommet for this. Earth screws all the way up onto here, to the body of the machine. Two very simple repairs. But sadly, I can't pick what the repair is going to be. I'll fix what's sent on. So that should run better now. That's it. One Marcrist DDM3 red machine. Also with a new lead. 2 machines, 2 new leads. Nice and simple. Next up is a Hilti impact driver. This is the SID4A22. Now, common wee problem with these, just like the Milwaukee and the Dewalts, is the tool holder no longer holds the butt. Hilti is probably the 3rd most common brand to have this problem. Dewalt being the most common, then the Milwaukee, then the Hilti. But unlike the Milwaukee and the Dewalt, you can't fix the Hilti with just a wee spring. You have to buy a whole chuck kit. So that's what we're going to do here. What you need is a little kit from Hilti. Ring up Hilti, quote this number, tell them to send you one out. Normally you fall apart completely, actually just come apart and all the bits fly everywhere. This one, the actual wee legs for holding the steel ball inside, one of them is broken and it's dropped inside, jamming the bits inside of it, or jamming the ball. So you have to dismantle the whole thing and put in all these new parts. There are quick and easy ways of doing this. You can simply put the parts in and give it a couple of slaps with a hammer to get these here little feet or holders to sit down, because it's a tight fit. But generally I don't like taking a hammer to things, so I do it a wee bit differently. If you don't want to get the hammer out, try it this way. That's the easiest way to do it. First of all, take this little spring clip out. Just remove all the old bits. That's what's actually failed. And these wee plates here, they simply wear out eventually and just fail. Get rid of that. Don't forget that other ball. Now you're left with a bare tool holder. The whole thing to take off. The actual spring clip down here, or C-clip. Now there's 2 different ways you can do this. You can assemble this first without the spring in the bottom. That's the important bit. Don't install this here to last. Without that, the chuck sleeve can go the whole way down and give you room to fit the balls. You can fit that first, and the spring and washer, then the plates facing out the way. And you can carefully drop the ball into the plate and then guide that down onto the hole on both sides, but it's a little bit tricky and you'll have to actually push it all the way down to get the ball to engage properly. That's the way I generally do it, because it sometimes works out easier, but there is a second way, because that can be a wee bit tricky and finicky. The other way is to put the balls on first. A little bit of grease in here helps to hold on the balls. Make sure these balls are all the way to the bottom. That's your sleeve, your spring, and your washer. And these should just push in by hand. 1, 2. Those little balls aren't all the way down, that will not engage correctly. So they should be just sitting all the way down. A slight spring to them, but the sleeve should be free to move. Don't pull it all the way off now, or we'll just take it apart again. After that's on, just fit your C-clip. That holds them in. And then lastly, this heavier C-clip or E-clip on the bottom. That just keeps the sleeve up far enough so it can't open again. And that's it. One Hilti SID 4/A22 impact driver with a new chuck kit fitted. Nice and easy and no hammer required. I don't take many Hilti tools in for repair now, but that there's a fairly common and a very easy fix. I still have plenty of these wee kits lying about, so I still take them on the odd time. That's it, folks. No need to send it off to Hilti just for the wee chuck. You can easily just buy the chuck yourself from Hilti and fix it yourself. Just be careful you don't lose any of the pieces as you're putting it together, especially the little steel balls. They can easily drop, you can lose them. Work on a clean bench where you can find everything if it drops on the ground. But it's fairly easy to do. Anybody can do it at home. Give it a go. It's a lot cheaper than posting it away, and no hammer required. That's it. Now, wouldn't be a day in the workshop if we didn't have at least one grinder in for repair. We Bosch 7115. Nothing. Check the obvious stuff. Get these in all the time because people have so many of them. But also because the brushes aren't the biggest. They're fat, but they're not long. So they do wear out and need to be replaced a little bit more often. They're worn, but they're not worn out. They still need to be replaced. Just about gone. But they haven't popped, that's not why it's just not running. Next obvious one is the lead. Live's not working. Just make sure it's not a fuse. Nah, it's not the fuse anyway. It's wild hard to blow MIG welding tips. Solid piece of brass. Doesn't matter what they're cutting, they're not going to blow that anytime soon. So it's not the fuse, it is the lead. Now the plug, there's nothing actually wrong with it. So I'll just reuse that. obviously, as much as I'd like to. Can't reuse the welding tip. So I'm going to have to get a 13 amp fuse instead. That's her. New leading brushes, and it's up and running. Common repair for any grinder. The brushes do need changing these ones a little bit more often. I'll just give him back this, just in case he wants to change the fuse. Next up, we have a cheap and cheerful. Yeesh. An Einhell SDS drill. Small hammer drill, basically. Now, these things aren't the most expensive things in the world. Einhell, they're a DIY brand, but they're good enough for what they are. This one here, it's actually from 2009, and she's clearly done quite a bit of work. Not a very bad thing to say about Einhell. You can actually get spare parts for them as well. But they are cheap and cheerful. Let's see what's wrong with this one. Right, she's running, but she's sparking. Looks to be more from one side, so we might get away with a set of brushes on this. The brush holder's all chewed up, has a cap. Somebody's tried taking it out, and it's all broken apart on them. Get them out. Two little holes, a set of circlip pliers. And that gives you something to grip onto to take them out. Right, that's worn out. This is the bad one. It's actually a totally different brush. Also the wrong size. It's not wide enough and it's not thick enough. As you can see, this one's been arcing more so than this one. Should just get away with a set of brushes for this. Now, don't have brushes for these Einhells, but you can use a set of like cookies instead. 999/073s. They are the exact same thickness and width, maybe a little bit longer. The spring might be a bit longer too, but should still fit. This thing is looking a bit worse for wear. Might be an oil leak in this as well, but it's not going to be worth stripping this down to fix an oil leak. If the customer has us running and hammering, they'll be happy enough. What's that like? Much better. Now, might just give this a wee quick rinse down to get rid of some of this gunk up on top and just help clean out these vents a bit, because there ain't much air getting through there. Now, that's not going to make any difference to the machine, but might keep the motor running for longer. Air can actually get on and cool it down. That's her. Ready for work again. Wee cheap Einhell up and running. Now, we done the Makita charger one other week. The big Makita 4 battery charger, so I may as well do the Dewalt one this time. This is the DCD100. She looks to be doing nothing. No lights, no nothing. Now these are expensive units to be buying, and not something you want to be replacing too often. The Makita one you can buy the parts for, but they are kind of expensive, but you can still get the parts. These here, I don't imagine you'll be able to get many parts for the Dewalt ones. This could be just one solid unit with no spare parts available. I'll check that out in the breakdown in a wee minute. But for now, we'll see what's actually wrong with it. Big screws in this thing anyway. It's built as if it's heavy duty. But is it heavy duty? Look at the screws in it. We don't have to take that off. I don't have to take that off. What is that even for? Nothing at all. An extra part just to reinforce the handle. Thing's not that heavy. Well, that should be all we need. Clearly seen work anyway. We'll just blow this out first. Now, generally, don't look at an awful lot of chargers, but this one's actually 110 volt, and they can be hard to get on a 110 volt. Plus, they might be a little bit more expensive, so I'll see if I can do anything with this. Power's coming on here. It looks like a separate box. And that lead's broken there too. Could be something to do with it. And she's all glued on. So here's going to be a wee filter board or something. Just something to clean the power coming in. To isolate it and split it between 2 boards. Neutral's okay. No live. So it is just a cable. Right. We can fix that. These aren't even soldered, they're actually just crimped together, so they are. Not a big deal, it's not like they're taking much power. Get rid of that. Now, this is a moulded grommet. So I have to put a power cable onto this. There's no way I'm going to get that sitting like that again. All you can do is drill into the actual lead, drill out the lead hole and take it through here, just so you can keep this square end. That's about as much as you can do. The rest will probably have to go. Now to stop this lead from getting pulled out, just need to fit something to stop it fitting through this hole again. Generally, quick and easy method. It's just a good tight fitting cable tie. And I also just like to put a wee bit of gasket seal, just to make sure it can't pull out too easily. Basically sticking it, that's all it's doing. Does that fix the problem? Look at that. She's lighting up. Nice one. That's her. That's how you fix a Dewalt 4-port charger with a broken cable. Luckily that's all it is. If I go in by the breakdown on this thing, there ain't much you can get. I go onto the Dewalt site for this charger, DCB100, type 1. You get a complete charger. That's it. No service parts available. Not a single thing can you get for it. Not a lead, not a cover, not even this wee plastic piece up here in the handle. If she breaks, you throw it in the bin and you buy another one. So it's a good job this one. There's only just a lead. Next up, we have a wee Dewalt drill. This is the anniversary Dewalt drill, the DCD100, type 1. This thing has to be the worst drill Dewalt ever made. This one, it's actually working fine. That's because it's just back from repair. This was a warranty job. We actually took on 10 of these here for the special deal that we're on. We sold about 4 or 5 of them. We sent the rest back. All the other ones we sold actually came back in for repair under warranty. They all have the same problem. switch. These things here are just a disaster. Work for a little while, but eventually the switch plays up, and it's actually the forward reverse part of the switch. So literally, when you're drilling, all of a sudden the drill will just change direction. Drilling forward, and we'll just start drilling in reverse then out of nowhere. Same the other way around, drill in reverse, it just starts going forward. Same problem with them all. Seems to be just a common fault with these here things. They're not very good. This one was actually sent away for repair. It's just back again, but just needs a final little tweak. Not a big deal, but it's just not closed up correctly. There's a bit of a gap there. You can just see the motor underneath. What's this here? Cover's all twisted to one side or something. Nothing actually wrong with it. Just don't want to give it back to the customer like that. It's just the position of the motor inside just needs to be adjusted. But normally the motor on a Dewalt is actually one unit, so it shouldn't matter that it is twisted to one side. But if this was any other brand that has a separate armature, if that becomes twisted, the motor could rub. But it shouldn't be a problem with these ones. It's a shame they're a bad switch, because they're a hell of a motor on the damn thing. Look at the stator in that. That is a strong motor for a very small drill. But the switch lets them down. You really see that now, look. It's all starting to pull apart. It's just not incorrectly. When refitting a new motor onto these, which was probably done with this being under warranty, it is well difficult to actually get the wires sitting exactly right into an old body. So the problem is that just hasn't been dropped in most likely. Look at the motor in the damn thing. Decent looking switch. There's just something wrong with it. These switches, they actually did change them. It used to be you could just pop off the clips on the side, take this off and actually clean out these switches if they start to give them bother, intermittent speeds. Now it appears you can't do that. They've changed the design of them, and not for the better by the looks of it. These here ones, just not the best. You can always chill the cheaper drills as well, because they just have a wee cheap LED light down in here. But it's got a decent motor on it, good thick, heavily wound stator, and then a wee rotor then, big fat one inside of there. And look at the size of the big bearing on it. I think that's a 625 bearing, massive out of race on it. And there is why it's not sitting in right. Didn't put it on properly. It's broken this wee locator tab. It's because he didn't set it in right. Just folded this over and broke it. But that just slides in to this wee slot in the field here in the stator. Same as this one over here, and these two here. They are alright, they're not broken or anything. So 3 out of 4 is alright. That's just to help locate it, keep it square in the body, and also stops the motor tweaking whenever you run at full speed very fast, or stop it very fast from full speed, so the momentum doesn't jerk the motor around the place. They probably just didn't have that pressed in. Closed up the clamshell, probably didn't see it was completely flat, didn't see the gap. We screwed it down anyway, and the screws then, whenever they screwed them on tight, pulled on the body, broke over that little tab. And fitting it, just have to make sure it clicks in properly. And always make sure your forward reverse switch is engaged. And that should be fine. Should be all we need to do with it. Nice looking gearbox on it as well. These things are just a bad design, full stop. Very awkward to put back together again. Everything's that tight, there's no support. Just hold the gearbox, press on the motor, hold the switch all down, make sure retainer's in place. 4, trying to put this other half back on. It's just not the best setup. You can see how somebody could easily mess up putting it together. It's better. These things, if you see them on a good deal, probably will get them nice and cheap, because they were a special edition. This nice grey colour, but try to avoid them, to be honest. Give nothing but trouble. Good powerful motor, mind you, and they are working, everybody says. Loads of power out of it, probably even too much, but that's not much use if the thing doesn't last. Even the chuck just feels as slack. You just built it to a budget and it does show. Looks better. Now it never fully seals up because there is a small gap in the housing anyway. There's a little lip on it, but you shouldn't be able to see the motor through it. This rear cover is important because it does centre the bearing. So if that's not right, you're going to hear it in the motor. And that should do. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it to begin with. It's just back from being repaired. Just needed to be closed up properly. A little piece broke off. That's her, ready to go. And just as if to prove a point, this one I just fixed, or just opened. There's another one just left back for repair. This one's under warranty too. And he says that's the switch. See that? Going that way. Now it's going this way. I'm not changing this. Couldn't write it. That's every single one of these things we sold. All came back faulty with bad switches. This one's fixed up, that's back under warranty. Hopefully that's sorted out now. This one's just arrived and to be fixed. The exact same problem, the switch. These things, you see them for sale, walk away. DCD100, the anniversary Dewalt drill. Get them at a good price, but they're not a good drill. Don't be buying them. We've actually sent the last 5 or 6 we had in stock. sent them all straight back to Dewalt. Too much hassle. Not worth buying.